When your new witnesses are ready to go, you may begin presentation.
Here, thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Chair and members. I'm grateful for the opportunity to present AB 2674 to you today. AB 2674 supports development of housing for foster youth and the many in need of affordable housing by adding 3 additional financial tools to the Cal HFA toolbox. Nearly 1 in 3 transition age foster youth in California experience homelessness. Both federal and state governments have invested in supporting foster youth and transitional age in finding permanent housing, but the major barrier is the lack of availability of housing dedicated to these individuals. Unfortunately, the nature of foster youth rental subsidies, which are portable, has led to the perception that housing is a riskier investment. However, foster youth housing subsidies are consistent, especially when partnered with service providers. AB 2674 borrows from the successful Transportation Infrastructure Finance and Innovation Act, which uses loan guarantees, lines of credit, and loans to encourage private investment into infrastructure by reducing perceived risk factors for financiers. Creating an ecosystem where foster youth service providers can more easily access private funding for acquisitions and renovations will make it easier for youth to find a place to call home. Here to testify in support is Sue Evans, Chief Operating Officer of Walden Family Services, and Kevin Clark, Senior Director of Good River Partners.
Good morning, Chair Ward and members of the committee. Kevin Clark with Good River Partners, and we are a public benefit firm that is completely dedicated to eliminating the foster care to homelessness pipeline here in California. As Assembly Member Schiavo just mentioned, we know from research that about 1/4 of transition age foster youth are going to experience homelessness in California during the ages of 21 to 23. And on top of that, an additional 1/3 are going to have experience with couch surfing. Personally, I'm a former foster youth myself. I experienced transitional housing when I was about 19, and I was in between places. And the only transitional housing that was available to me, the only one that had an open bed, was about 3 hours from the evening job I was working in Hollywood. So as a solution for me, I would just sleep on the buses and just go back and forth on the buses in the evening until there was a more direct line to the transitional housing location. And a lot of my friends in community college, they called home their cars. They recline the passenger seat of their car, and that would be their place to sleep for the evening. So it's extremely difficult to focus on long-term goals when our kind of immediate needs are in jeopardy. As Assemblymember Schiavo mentioned, AB 2674 is a sensible and cost-effective solution to this issue and would expand the number of available units for transition-age youth and low-income families throughout California. As the bill does so by borrowing from very, very successful federal transportation policy, TIFIA, as Ms. Schiavo had mentioned. And I'll just point out that TIFIA has been wildly successful in leveraging private capital to fund our nation's roads, highways, and bridges. In fact, between federal fiscal year 2018 and 20, TIFIA utilized about $3.1 billion in their financing mechanisms, to spur an additional $12.2 billion in additional capital into the space. So that's almost a 4x leverage ratio. And AB 2674 would actually act as a revenue generator, we believe, for the state, as Cal HFA could charge fees and interest on any financing products provided. So that's the high level. Leverages proven track record.
Thank you.
Generates revenue. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Ma'am?
Good morning, Chair and Committee members. My name is Sue Evans. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for one of the transitional housing providers. It's a non-profit, Walden Family Services. We've been in business for almost 48 years, and we're very proud to be a sponsor of AB 2674. Walden provides transitional housing and support services throughout California for foster and former foster youth 18 to 25 years. Sadly, over 30% of former foster youth end up homeless. This impacts their ability to complete school work and transition into becoming self-sufficient young adults. We at Walden are providing services in some of the highest cost counties, including LA County and San Diego County. Even though the demand for youth needing housing has increased, we frequently cannot find enough naturally occurring affordable rental units to meet the number of beds we are contracted to provide. We are competing for rental apartments on the open market, frequently being forced to leave apartment complexes as apartments are converted into luxury apartments with exorbitant rents. In addition, many housing managers are also turning us away as they're not wanting transitional age youth in their complexes. Walden decided to purchase some scattered site housing with the support of a conditional award from HomeKey. However, there's been a short-term gap between the purchase of our units and the funds being reimbursed. This has required us to take a hard money loan at great expense. Even though Walden is an established nonprofit with many county contracts, we have never owned any property, and we were turned away from accessing conventional loans as we were seen to be a high risk. The only loans we have been able to access are extremely expensive with very high interest rates, which takes away funding which is much needed for the supportive services we have to assist more youth.
10 seconds.
HomeKey has been a huge success, and we're very grateful for the legislators' investments in the program. Though access to debt for transitional housing providers remains extremely costly and oftentimes outright impossible to obtain.
Thank you for the presentation.
I vote to provide. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Are there any other members of the public here in support?
Nicole Morales on behalf of Children Now in support.
Thank you.
Rafa Sonnenfeld with EMB Action in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Adam Keglin on behalf of the Television Academy Foundation in support.
Thank you. Seeing no other members wishing to be recognized for support, are there any primary witnesses in opposition for this bill? Seeing nobody approach the table, any members of the public in opposition? Okay, bringing it back to committee. Any committee member comment? Mr. Patterson, Vice Chair Patterson moves the bill. Seconded by Mr. Kalra. Ms. Schiavo, I want to thank you for working on this. Clearly, we know that supporting our foster youth through these programs is essential. You're one of a few members that is really standing up to be able to support this vulnerable community, and we're grateful. Certainly, we all also know that we're facing the challenges that we are with the state budget and trying to be able to protect many of our investments that we have, and that is a priority of mine. From a policy perspective, I very much support what you are trying to do, and I'll be happy to support the bill today. Would you like to close?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you. And I think, this is a second iteration. We tried another version of this bill last year, which did not make it across the finish line. This one we're very excited about because it actually is budget positive instead of budget negative. And so this is an opportunity for us to actually do the important work that needs to be done to make sure we're providing housing for foster youth and affordable housing. And also, we'll have a positive impact on our budget. And we all know that those are solutions we need this year. So appreciate an aye vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Schiavo. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Motion to pass to the Assembly Committee on Human Services. Ward?
Aye.
Ward, aye. Patterson?
Aye.
Patterson, aye. Grayson?
Aye.
Grayson, aye. Kalra? Aye. Kalra, aye. Lee?
Aye.
Lee, aye. Cork Silva?
Aye.
Cork Silva, aye. Reyes? Sanchez? Wilson?
And that bill will be out. We're at 6:00. We're going to hold the roll open for absent members. Thank you.